What it did, what it do, and what it does. What's going on? This is your boy, The Sound of the Raign, and I want to welcome you to episode 15 of The Sound of the Raign Podcast. And today we'll be discussing the behind the scenes on my album, my upcoming album, Raign Storm, Sound of Harmony. But before we get into that, I do want to kind of cover some of the things that have been going on, since we spoke on the last episode. You're going to kind of have to bear with me. I've been a little bit under the weather, and it has kind of hindered my progression as far as content creation. Some of it's been just tiredness, laziness. And you know what? I'm kind of hesitant to put laziness up in there. So I ain't going to say that. I ain't going to put it on myself. Been a little bit of depression in there. But I started a new job within the past few months, and my role has gone from training to actually doing the job, and it's tough. It's not the job itself, but I ain't gonna get into all that, but it's wearing a brother out. So to be honest, I haven't even felt like doing anything. And then there's been some health issues I've been challenged with that have kind of been putting me in a rut. And so what I really decided and thought about, man, is like, what, if I continue to let these things make me and make my situation, I'm gonna sit here forever. If I'm waiting for my body to feel better, if I'm waiting for my job to get easier, I'll never record another episode of the podcast. I'll never record another song. I'll never drop an album. So I said, you know what? I'm going to do it while I'm hurting. I'm going to do it while the job is hard, so I'm going to grind and I'm going to get it. So I'm just pulling up my notes right now. Bear with me. I'm flying by the seat of my pants on this particular episode. We're kind of winging it. So when I wrote the notes for this episode, this was around the time that it was hip hop's birthday, and Bone Thugs-n-Harmony had been awarded a street in Cleveland named after them. East 99 had been dubbed Bone Thugs-n-Harmony Way. So that was one of the notes that I was going to share that with you guys. A lot of new music that has been put out. It's a song called Friends by Kodiak, featuring myself and G.I. Wonder. So definitely check for that on streaming platforms and streaming services. It's available everywhere. It's a wonderful song. I kind of feel like, I guess in this kind of underground artist trying to kind of promote their stuff, it's sometimes hard for your music to catch the ears of everybody, but it might be in the future that song really does kind of pick up steam. But I think that was a banger. Me and the fellas, we did a great job. I personally felt like I had the weakest verse on the song, which was cool. You know what I'm saying? Because it means you riding with people that are bringing that skill and bringing that talent. But shout out to Kodiak. Shout out to G.I. Wonder, all the homies, Chris Cross, Virginia Q, and Crime Wave. So then there's Breakdown, which is the lead single from my upcoming album, which I'm going to get into later. Breakdown is available right now on streaming services. It's inspired by the Mariah Carey and Bone Thugs-n-Harmony collaboration, Breakdown, which is funny because as the first part of the song that I had was the hook and kind of the concept of it. And I just happened to say the phrase breakdown in the chorus, so it took me a while to kind of find out how I was going to start my verse. And I was listening to it and I was just like, break down. I don't want to give up. Times don't want to sit up. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go with that. So even at that point, I still hadn't decided to call the song Breakdown. But then, as I began to implement more aspects of the Bone song, I was just like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and call it Breakdown. But it's break space down, not breakdown, one word. But the concept of that song is just, me talking about life and feeling like I want to give up and feeling like I'm going to break down and just crying out to the Lord, for help and strength to continue to pursue and press on. I definitely love that song. Please go out there, run them numbers up. Another joint I did was called Leave 'Em Alone, which was inspired by Flesh and Bones verse from Down For My Thing, which was on the Bone Thugs and Harmony debut album, Creeping on a Come Up. So there's a part in Flesh's verse where he was like, leave 'em alone, they come, they get you be shown, them bone, them chrome blown, left slugs up into them domes, so gone. And so what I did, the beat that I made, the key that it's in, and the BPM is actually the same as Down For My Thing. So I was trying to kind of recreate that beat or that feel. I'm clearly not as good as a producer as Rhythm D, so I failed miserably, but I do feel like I was able to kind of harness a vibe of my own, and so I made it. And what's crazy is that a lot of people responded to that song that they usually don't even respond to my music. You know what I'm saying? They were just like, and I guess it might have been because it was something a little more hardcore. But a lot of people were feeling it, and the concept of that song was just really like me expressing how a lot of times I would maybe bottle a lot of stuff in, or maybe put up with a lot of things, and kind of someone might look at me and consider that as weak or consider me a doormat. A lot of problems I have, I give them to the Lord. Because if it weren't for that, I'd be in prison or in jail or in prison or dead, if I reacted how I felt or how I wanted to. And so, matter of fact, I wrote something that explained it. And when I tried to post it on social media, it didn't let me because of a copyright reasons, because of the song, which was my song, which is crazy, and I made the beat. It was original, but they still, it was a copyright thing, so I don't know. All right, so this is the thing that I wrote. Produced by myself. This song is a moment of self-reflection. Me trying to prove my masculinity to myself by expressing how tough I am. Explaining to those who have walked over me that I'm not who I was and I won't stand for that type of behavior anymore. But the question is, will I? It takes a lot to get me to react. I'm a thinker. I rarely react off my emotion, and I think about the consequences of my action. But sometimes people need to just F around and find out. But is that what the Bible says? In the song, you can hear the plea of me saying, Jesus, will you help me clean my soul because I'm searching for peace? Dear Lord, can you help me? Shout out to the Poetic Hustlers from Mo Thug. Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. Romans 12:19. The Bible also says if your enemy slaps you in one cheek, give them the other one to slap as well. I'm paraphrasing, but it's something along those lines. Don't get me wrong, when it comes to my family and protection, triggers get pulled with no question. But what about myself? This song was also heavily influenced by the Bone song Down For My Thing and samples a line from Flesh in that song for the chorus. I was really trying to channel that creeping on the come up flow. So that was kind of a little synopsis I wrote regarding the song. Like on the second verse, I was in my busy bag where I was like, remember the sounds that sin, it's the creeper, busting the man, it's the preacher, spitting that venom, fitting, never missing. Because Busy started his verse off, remember that rips that sin, it's the creeper, ripping up that set with a street sweeper, gotta take a breather from sipping me leader, ripping that flesh with a meat cleaver. Busy snapped on that. So that's kind of the energy behind that song. But if you notice a trend, both of these songs are inspired by Bone Thugs and Harmony. Sonically, and even the content of them is very introspective as far as how I feel or how I'm thinking as a person. Most of the songs you guys have heard me do have been about video games and nerd culture and movies and stuff like that. But with this album, I'm going a little deeper. And so also another song that's been released is Crazy World. That's a song that I had recorded a long time ago, and for one reason or another, I never put the song out on streaming platforms. There were some concerns I had about the beat, as far as my abilities and rights with it. But I do have exclusive rights to it. It was produced by Verbal via Ano Domini Beats. Shout out to Verbal. Shout out to Ano Domini. Verbal's out actually from Ohio as well. Verbal, if you're listening to this, man, holla at me, man. Maybe we can do some more work in the future. But yeah, so I put the song out, long story short. So the song is now available on all streaming platforms. It's actually been the best performing song that I've had, especially initially when it first came out. I'm hoping it does pick up steam. The song is paying homage and tribute to Crazy Bone and Bone Thugs and Harmony. The reason I say Crazy Bone is because it's focused on him in a sense, but it's also to pay homage and respect to all of Bone. Crazy Bone is my favorite artist, but Bone Thugs and Harmony is my favorite group. So I didn't feel like I could pay homage to him without also including the group as well. But even the sample in the beat says, a world so crazy. You know what I'm saying? So I flipped it and played it off that. Matter of fact, as soon as I heard the beat, I knew what time it was. I remember I was driving in the car. For those of y'all ain't from the South or from where I'm at, it's a local donut chain called Krispy Kreme, and I had my phone hooked up to my car stereo, and I was listening to instrumentals I had gotten, and that one came on, and I turned over and it was like, world so crazy, and that you automatically think of that, and you're thinking like, okay, the world's crazy, things going on in the world, politics, situations, disasters, famine, poverty, stuff like that. That would be your initial thought. But the first thing I thought, I was like, the world has gone crazy. Everybody sound like Crazy Bone. Everybody want to sing. Everybody want to rap fast. And I was like, man, this would be the dopest thing I could do. So it took a while for me to actually write the song, to actually kind of get it in there. It was around December of 2021 that I wrote the song. And so I wrote like the first verse, and I recorded myself saying it on my phone. And I posted it on a Bone Thugs and Harmony group on Facebook. And someone from that group reached out to me and was like, yo, man, Crazy needs to hear this. And I was like, yeah, that'd be dope, man. I'm assuming that person was, I can't remember who they were, that got it to him. Somebody sent it to Crazy, because that person reached back out to me and was like, yo, it's on Crazy's Instagram page, his Instagram account. So I went to Crazy's Instagram, and lo and behold, the post was up there. It eventually ended up getting like 16,000 views. And, Crazy was just like, this is fire, much respect. So Cray was showing mad love. So eventually, in April of 2022, actually the same day that the anniversary of Thug Mentality 1999, I actually dropped Crazy World exclusively on YouTube, and I made like a little visual to go with it. Took me like 2 weeks to make. Everything that I do myself. Thumbnail, if you hear it or see it from me, not necessarily producing the beats, but I mix and master all my stuff. That ain't no, I'm learning and getting my skills. I'm not saying that to pat myself on the back. I'm saying that just so if you want to know, like, who did this, where did this come from, it was myself. The reason being is because, one, I don't have the resources to pay somebody else to do it, and two, as I've gotten better at it, I trust myself more with how my craft comes out and how I want to express it and display it to people. And so I don't know or feel like if maybe somebody else could actually portray my vision like I could. So in April, I put it out. It came out on YouTube, and right now it's at 14,000 views. And then about a month later, I got a DM from Crazy Bone, and I will share that story later on down the road in the future. I'll tell the whole story, but shout out to Crazy Bone, shout out to Flesh and Bone. Flesh, we got to get it in, man. Lazy, all the Bones, man. They've all have been, showing me mad love. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate that, man. It's crazy how the people that you looked up to as a kid become your peers in a sense. That's one of the dope things about technology or social media. Besides that, I sometimes I can't stand it. So all those songs are out. Friends, Crazy World will be on the album Sound of Harmony as well. So this is what it is. I'm always talking about coming soon, or I'm always talking about I'm gonna put an album out, yada yada yada. Well, what I did was I looked back at my YouTube channel and I kind of trying to figure out my direction or my vision. And it all started with a Busy Bone video that I did where he was talking about breaking down his verse from First of the Month. And I took it and edited it and put it on my YouTube channel. And it did really well, right? And so I'd come, Busy would go on live. I'd do another video. I got a lot of Busy videos because he seems to be somebody that does go on his YouTube, or at least used to go on his YouTube live quite a bit. So I was able to make, videos and put them up and edit them because a lot of people that are his fans and supporters, they might not be able to sit and watch the whole 2 or 3 hour YouTube live. But if they catch a certain part where he's like spitting his verse from Days of Our Lives or breaking it down, they'll want to click on that clip and want to see it. So make sure y'all go subscribe to Jam TV on YouTube. So that's what happened. I'm making YouTube videos, and I'm making these Just Vibe videos, which are reactions. As of now, it's just been the Bone Thugs and Harmony songs, but it's me reacting to these songs, and it's got a lot of great feedback. People have enjoyed it. Long story short, my YouTube channel has a big following that are Bone Thugs and Harmony fans, that are Bone Thugs and Harmony supporters, and I thought that was cool. I was putting up the Bone verse of the day, which is going to be coming back. I was putting up the Bone Thug verse of the day, having a lot of interaction because these are like my people, my tribe. You know what I'm saying? If the internet existed like this back when I was younger, I would have been doing that for Bone back then, and so then I started kind of straying away from it, and a lot of times it was, the voices of other people's opinions of, what I thought I should do. But then I took a look back and I just really looked at my channel. And besides the Bone stuff, I got like some cooking videos that had done really, really well, actually. I actually want to do a cooking channel on YouTube so bad. But I got all these ideas, but I don't have the time for them. So I'm going to start with this one right here. So I looked back at it and I was like, you know what? I need to embrace what the people want. You know what I'm saying? Even music-wise, one of the biggest songs that I've had has been produced by Blaze. Shout out to the homie Blaze. It was a song. It was a Bone Challenge contest he had for his instrumental album, for these Bone instrumentals. And I did a song called They Will Know 910. Shout out to the homie Lucas who won the challenge, but I submitted a song with that beat and a lot of people was really digging it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the Bone flow and the Bone vibe and the Bone references, but then when I come, I'm still gonna come with my, I might hit them with the but then I'm gonna come with that sound of the rain, my regular voice when I flow, when I come, and I gotta go, then I gotta, I'm gonna come with that. I'm not gonna just try to sound like Bone and try to mimic them and bite them. You know what I'm saying? Because they've been very vocal in their career, even to this day. You know what I'm saying? Flesh had his song, To the Bone came out. Niggas went around sound like, when I hang like, when I sound like Bone. You know what I'm saying? And that's the truth. So that song was inspired by Bone. I was representing where I'm from, Fayetteville, North Carolina, and I kind of use that opportunity, favorite is the city where I come from, so run, run. I kind of mix it all up in there. So I look back and saw like, okay, I got a huge Bone following. I have all these ideas. I want to do this. I want to do that. It's just, if y'all could be inside of my brain, y'all will understand like, dang, this dude's always wanted to do something different. It's literally a brainstorm. So I came to the conclusion like, okay, I'm going to do a series of albums. All my albums are going to be called Brainstorm because they're going to be a part of my mind, a part of my thoughts, a portion of me as a person. And right now, creatively, the place that I'm in, I'm going to do one called Sound of Harmony. Okay? So the title is inspired by the sounding, sonically, is going to have a very heavily Bone Thugs influenced sound, right? And so then I was thinking like, okay, Blaze, the same guy that did the beat for that challenge I was just referencing, he produced two of Busy Bone's recent albums, Carbon Monoxide and The Mantra. And both of them albums are fire. Busy just dropped the new album, by the way, The Wasteland. Shout out to B. Y'all go check that out. He's rapping on there. You know what I'm saying? So if you're not into Bone and you want to hear some like spitting and some context, like that might be the album for you. I haven't finished listening to everything yet, but B is rapping on there. But him and Blaze's chemistry was just undeniable. Okay, well Blaze has his beats available on BeatStars for people to be able to lease and to buy. And so with me, having a budget, leasing the beats was very affordable, something that I could do. So I went and listened. I was listening to his beats on YouTube. I was like, how people have beats like Drake type of beat, A$AP Rocky type of beat. He has a lot of like Bone type of beats, and it ain't a lot of people that would rap over those or listening to him. So Blaze produced Breakdown. And so I was listening to his beats, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like, what if I did a Bone sounding album produced by somebody that actually produced Bone, and it had a Bone feel and a vibe. Like, on my YouTube channel with a lot of Bone fans, they would dig it. You know what I'm saying? So that was the idea behind the whole thing. So essentially, initially it was going to be all Blaze beats. I was just going to use Blaze beats. So I could say this whole album was produced by somebody that, produced by Busy Bone. And so, Blaze had a beat called Still Down for My Thing, and there's something wrong with it when you download it from the website. And so it was kind of I guess it was in reference to Down for My Thing, but it had a different vibe. So while I was waiting for him to try to fix the beat, that's when I made the Leave Him Alone beat on my own. So then I decided like, okay, I think I'm gonna try to produce some stuff on this album. And then the homie Severed Sounds, the homie Scheme, I realized he has a website and he has beats for lease as well. I love to be able to support people financially that are doing their thing. I can't afford it all the time, but the ability to lease the beats was something that is in my budget. So I'm actually going to have a beat or two from Severed Sounds as well. He actually produced a song for Busy. I think it was on the War of Roses album called Mr. Ripster, which was one of Busy. That song was fire, and that beat was fire. You know what I'm saying? So that's another piece of the Bone puzzle, right? So, and then I'm going to produce it. And if I get beats from elsewhere that have that Bone sound or that Bone vibe, that's why it's going to be called The Sound of Harmony. But it doesn't stop there. Like I said, this is an introspective album. You're going to get parts of me, how I feel. I go through a lot as a person and as a human being, but a lot of times it's not information and things that I share on a personal level. So I decided that this would be a great opportunity for me to delve into how I feel as a person. There's another song Blaze produced on the album. It's going to be called Ballin', and it's talking about my financial struggles. You know what I'm saying? How hard it is taking care of my family and my kids, and how I want them to be able to live a lifestyle that I never was able to experience. Lord knows I work so hard trying to keep my composure and hold on. Weight of the world on these shoulders, but I know that I'm not so strong. Wanna be left alone so long. Tell me, is that so wrong? For one time in my life, wanna know what it's like to be ballin'. That's the chorus on there. And so that's produced by Blaze as well. So, you're getting a piece of me. You know what I'm saying? And it's therapeutic for me to get these things off of my chest, for me to get these things out. Even as I just rap that, I'm sitting here and I just feel a peace coming over myself. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I can rap about, Ninja Turtles and Power Rangers and how ill of an MC I am. But if you really want to connect and touch the people, man, you got to come with your heart. That's why everybody love Pac, man. I know people like to say Pac want an MC, Pac want a lyricist. That's hogwash. Pac was a spitter. Pac made content that was catered to certain situations, and he talked about stuff. If Pac wanted to make a song where he was spitting, you ever heard Got My Mind Made Up off of All Eyes on Me? Pac was spitting. So if Pac wanted to spit, Pac could spit. You know what I'm saying? It was never anything about that, But forgive me for that tangent. But tangent, that's the right word, yeah. But so yeah, you know what I'm saying? So that was the with me releasing these things and it being therapeutic for me, the sound of the music that I'm making is bringing me peace, which leads to a harmonic bliss in my spirit, a harmony that I'm feeling. So it's a sound of harmony. So it's a sound of harmony because of the influence and the sound of Bone Thugs and Harmony, but it's also a sound of harmony because the therapy that I'm receiving by releasing how I feel within this music is also going to bring harmony to my spirit and to my soul and peace as a person. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't just like, oh, I want to sound like Bone. Nah, that ain't like that. Because it can't nobody sound like Bone. You know what I'm saying? There are people that can rap fast, people that can sing, but at the end of the day, I want to hear Crazy, Lazy, Busy, Wish, and Flesh sound like that. You know what I'm saying? That's who I want to hear spitting that. And you know what I'm saying? And Bone does have some, they working on some new music, got some new things on the way. Crazy Bone will be releasing Chasing the Devil 2 this year, I believe. Lazy Bone has an album. He got a new single called the Pillar with the homie Raign from Havoc doing the killer background vocals on there. And I forgot the name of it. The name of Lazy's album is something like Hypnotic Rhythms. That's what it's called. So Lazy got an album coming out called Hypnotic Rhythms. I know Flesh working on some stuff. So, B just dropped something. So, Bone is busy, man. No pun intended. So that's the story behind the album Sound of Harmony. So each one of my projects going forward will be called Brainstorm, because it's like my brain is storming. A brainstorm is a time you take to think of things, to create thoughts, but it also goes along with my name, Sound of the Rain. Storms have rain, so it's a brainstorm. So it all plays together, But yeah, and then there's a Brainstorm. Nerd Raps Volume 1 is coming out, which is going to be a collection of all the nerdcore songs that I've done up until now, and I'm going to drop 3 unreleased songs on there too, or 2 unreleased songs in a verse, and then 1 song that's never been available off of YouTube. So your boy is working, man. If you know the power of prayer through my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, lift your boy up in prayer. Oh yeah, that's another project I'm working on. There was a podcast episode I was on that I'm gonna put a link to in the bio or the description notes or the notes for the podcast. But there's a podcast episode I was on for this project that I've been working on that I hadn't really talked about because I kind of wanted to keep it under wraps because I didn't know if the person spearheading it kind of wanted to. But there's a podcast that I'm a part of called For Truth Podcast, where I'll be providing the soundtrack for it, and it's the truth of the Bible, of the Word of God, and it's four brothers sitting down, just having real conversations, talking about different things in the Bible, and it's helped me because I've learned a lot, and it's helped me grow in my faith. I'm at a point in my life where I don't want to just say I'm a Christian, I'm saved, I'm a believer in Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior, but I also want to know and understand why, the meaning behind things, so I can go out and preach the gospel, because that's what it's about. So I was on a podcast where all of us that are working on the podcast were talking about the podcast, and then the podcast will be coming out in October, I believe, October or November. So the podcast I was on was called Truth Talks, not the same one that Crazy Bone and Keith G have, but it's called Truth Talks. So definitely, I'll leave a link for y'all to check that out. Also, me and author Nicholas Adams, Nick has a new book coming out, and I don't want to butcher the title of it. Give me just a moment here. I'm not going to fast forward it. It's going to be in real time. It's going to be in real time. Dun, 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 dun. Kira. Okay? If I'm pronouncing that wrong, Nick, I apologize. It's Kyra, Kyra. That's the name of his new book. And so I'm going to be working with him on some things regarding that book. So Project Xanthia is no longer a thing. We've evolved and elevated into this, which is part of the Xanthia series. So definitely stay tuned for that. That book will be available in November. And hopefully when the book drops, there will be something from Sound of the Raign to coincide with that. That's the plan. So we busy, we working. Sound Raps Volume 1 is available on all streaming platforms, which is a collection of acapella nerdcore verses that I've done. I've already started writing Volume 2. I wrote the first rap for Volume 2. I'm going to wait until I'm done with all of them to put it out, but please definitely check your boy out. We working. We thank you for all the support. Thank you to all the listeners. The podcast is back. We getting it. Peace.